So I have to admit, nothing that I thought I would talk about tonight feels as important as taking a moment to talk about what's happening right now and the parts of it that it's okay. Shame. Yeah. Who else feels like that? Yeah. Okay. So I could talk about the Torah, I could talk about Parsha, I could talk about, but I want to talk about the 13, and I want to talk about what feels like a miracle, and I also want to talk about what feels like the other side of it. Because on the one hand, it's like 13 miracles, and there's 13 families that get to reunite. And there's still a lot of families who are waiting. And there's even more families who are mourning. And it feels really important to hold both of those things and to remind ourselves that we can celebrate and mourn at the same time. We can feel relief and anxiety at the same time. We can feel hope and despair at the same time. There's been so much about these 50 days, so many lines drawn and so many divisions and so many statements and so many facts and so many numbers. And it doesn't have to be one thing or another. It doesn't have to be celebration or not celebration. And we can celebrate, hopefully, what will be more than 13 in the coming days. And we can still feel tremendous sorrow for what else is happening and what has happened. And for the healing that is still needed. Judaism's not a religion of absolutes. It would be nice sometimes if it was. It would be easier, right? It would be easier if we could just say, what does Judaism say? And there was one answer, and then we say, okay, that's the answer, and we went off and did it. But that's not, Judaism is debate. Judaism is arguments, it's wrestling, it's thinking, it's struggling, it's striving, it's working through its conflicting values. I'm starting to think about whatever's on the other side of all of this. I don't know what that is, but I'm starting to wonder what it is, and I'm starting to wonder how we will repair the damage, not just in Israel and Gaza and the surrounds, but in our own communities, in our relationships with people we don't agree with right now, in our country, in our world. And I think, we've been sitting in this for too long, and there is more coming. but we also have to get one foot out of it. We've got to start to re-engage the other parts of our lives. Because at some point, we come out the other side of this. And I will say a little thing about Torah, because, it's my job. But, this week, Jacob is leaving home, and he's moving away from his family of origin, and he's going to live with his uncle. But we know that later in his life, he's going to go back to where he came from, and he's going to have to face his brother, Esau, and try to reconcile. And then they're going to have to settle into their lives and into the future and let it go and move on. And somewhere in the future, we're going to do that too. And that feels important to keep an eye on, to keep track of, not to get stuck in this. And I'm thinking about this duality of celebration, gratitude, and also pain. So I want to just invite us to do something a little interactive. I know it's not everybody's favorite thing to do, but I want you to just take a minute and turn to the person next to you and share with them one thing that you're grateful for and one thing that you are still holding that's painful. So a pain and a gratitude. Just to remind us that each of us is always holding both. And when we share those with one another, it lightens it a little bit. So take a minute. It can be someone you know, it can be someone that you introduce yourself to. You can share a big thing, a little thing, whatever you feel comfortable, but one gratitude, one thing that's still painful for you, and then we'll come back together. And if you're online, you can share them in the comments and in the chat, because we know that you're here with us. And please connect with one another in that space.
Massively grateful for my children. And my daughter is doing well. I'm grateful for my husband. Hoping that he will come out of this depths that he's in and find his way.
to be wiped out when there's not that many.
And we are. If nothing else, we are people good.
Yeah, I
Because we're
think
not all
this,
religious. We don't even all believe in God, but we are.
but I think
people
this,
good. And it goes deep.
it's all kinds of,
bigger than us.
so many people going back to shul right now, like even the numbers this week. Up. Take a minute to finish your sharing. We can hold it both. We can hold it all. When we share it, we can hold it. So I want to invite us to say two different blessings, because we always take a minute for healing, and I want us to also take a moment of appreciation